Hey, what's up guys? This is Robert Wilson, Pensacola's #1 real estate agent. And in today's video, I'm gonna be real with y'all and go ahead and let the cat out of the bag and let you guys know that Pensacola is just not a good fit for everybody. It's just not. To be honest with you, I think a lot of people just end up falling in love with the fantasy of living here at Pensacola or on the Gulf Coast before they figure out and get here and realize what the area is actually like. And so in this video, I'm gonna break down the 5 different personality types that I think just would not do very well here in the Pensacola area. Let's get started. Okay, so personality type #1 that I think would definitely struggle here in Pensacola is the person who just does not do well at all with any type of inclement weather. I'm talking about just regular old thunderstorms. Because as I'm sure you already know, like here in Pensacola, we get some pretty crazy weather, right? Like you already know that here on the Gulf Coast, like we're gonna get hurricanes. But not only do we get hurricanes, but also like since we're in a tropical climate, like there's always some sort of like storm brewing out there somewhere. And I'm not a meteorologist by any stretch of the imagination, but I know like down here, you know, we have like all of the water creates certain pressures, and then we have the humidity, and then all that kind of works together, and then we're just constantly having thunderstorms all the time. So if you're the type of person who just does not do well with loud thunder or lightning, that's going to be a reoccurring thing here on the Gulf Coast is going to be like loud thunderstorms, and then like not even to mention the hurricanes, right? So if you're the type of person who does not do well with thunderstorms, but maybe you're like, you know what, I'm going to face my fears and I'm going to move to Pensacola anyway. Well, not so fast, because let's talk about the hurricanes real quick. Pop quiz. Do you know when hurricane season starts and ends? If you do, or you want to guess, leave a comment below telling me when you think hurricane season is. All right, time's up. Hurricane season lasts from June 1st all the way till the end of November. Another way to say that is that hurricane season is literally half of the year. Now, obviously, like we're not gonna be, going through a hurricane 6 months out of the year, but it's definitely something that as soon as it's June 1st, like you need to go ahead and start to be like monitoring the Weather Channel. You need to be constantly, vigilant about what all, tropical storm formations might be happening way out in the Gulf. And I can tell you just from experience, if you're not monitoring the weather on a regular basis, these storms will sneak up on you pretty quickly. I think it was in 2018 when Hurricane Michael ripped through Panama City. I was definitely tracking that storm, but I didn't really know about it. It wasn't on my radar until like it was 4 or 5 days out. And if you're just kind of becoming aware of the storm when it's 4 or 5 days out, I don't necessarily think that that's too late to start kind of getting your butt in gear and making a plan, but you're definitely going to be in that kind of scramble mode. Different personality types are going to pay a lot more attention and be more vigilant than other personality types are. But if you already are the type of person who just does not like storms in general, you don't want to deal with the constant anxiety of monitoring what's taking place out in the Gulf, because again, I'm not a meteorologist, I'm just kind of speaking from the gut here, but I think these storms like literally start like 2 weeks in advance before they make it to the Gulf, right? So if you're sweating bullets and dealing with anxiety when the storm is way over, just off the coast of, Africa, before it makes its way over here to the Gulf Coast region and makes it into the Gulf of Mexico, I just would not want that for you. Not that I don't want you to move here to Pensacola, because I love working with folks from out of town. I think that Pensacola is a great area, but if you're the type of person whose stomach starts to churn when dealing with, just regular thunderstorms, I don't know that you would do well here on the Gulf Coast. All right, so personality type #2 that I think would just not fit in well here in Pensacola is gonna be the anarchist personality type. Now, let's be real. Over the past couple of years, like things have gotten pretty crazy here in the U.S. And I can't remember when, but about a year ago, a lot of talk was going around about pretty much anarchy. Everyone was talking about defunding the police in certain areas. And I know over in Seattle, they had the CHAZ. And if you don't know what that is, that stands for the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone. And basically, like, that was a few blocks over in, I think, downtown Seattle, where literally like anarchists took over the neighborhood. Like even the mayor of Seattle blocked off, put up barricades so that nobody could enter it, and basically like turned over private property to these anarchist type individuals, and they were pretty much just running amok. They were a law unto themselves. And obviously it goes without saying that that is just totally crazy. I mean, here in Pensacola, in my opinion, we have some top-notch law enforcement agencies. The chief of police for the Pensacola Police Department is Eric Randall. He is a local guy who graduated from Washington High School back in the 90s, and then he went on to join the Navy, where he was an 8-year veteran. And then after he got out of the Navy, he ended up joining the Newport News Police Department, staying there for about 20 plus years, working his way all the way up into the ranks, becoming the assistant chief of police over there. And then he returned back home to Pensacola a couple of years ago. So point is, the chief of police here in Pensacola is a highly qualified military veteran and veteran of law enforcement. Okay, so that was the Pensacola Police Department, and definitely not amateur hour going on over there. But now let's talk a little bit about the Escambia County Sheriff's Office. The chief of the Escambia County Sheriff's Office is Sheriff Chip Simmons, and he actually started his law enforcement career as an Escambia County Corrections Officer back in 1984. And then in 1986, he was hired on by the Pensacola Police Department, and he worked his way all the way up to the chief of police for the Pensacola Police Department, and held that position from 2010 until 2015 when he retired. And then when he retired from the chief of police of Pensacola, he went back to the Escambia County Sheriff's Office from 2015 and was eventually elected sheriff of Escambia County in 2020. And after he won the election in 2020, he was quoted as saying, "It's good to know that Escambia County still wants to be a law and order county, and that they want a professional sheriff's office that can have equal parts enforcement and equal parts engagement." So I think that quote right there tells you that, obviously Sheriff Chip Simmons knows what he's doing. He is focused on not only just enforcing the law, but also getting involved with the community and fostering those relationships between law enforcement and citizens. So I say all that to say, if you are the type of person who wants to live in an area where it's pretty much free reign and the government lets you do whatever you want to do, and the police aren't going to bother you, or the police aren't going to enforce the law, you can break in, steal some stuff out of Academy Sports and walk off, that's not going to fly here. All right, now all that being said, here in Pensacola and Escambia County, we believe in following the rule of law. We have top-notch law enforcement agencies, and we have no desire to defund the police. All right, so personality type number 3 that I think would really kind of struggle here in the Pensacola area is going to be the type of person who really just only wants to be around people who are just like them. The type of person who only wants to hang out with people who look exactly like them, think exactly like they do, and share the same exact beliefs as they do. Because look, here's the deal. Pensacola is a pretty diverse area, and as I've mentioned in some of my other videos, you already know that Pensacola is a military town, so you already know that that means that you're going to have people from all across the country, from different states and whatnot, who join the military. Those folks who are stationed at NAS Pensacola, you already know that we're going to have people from all over the country because we are a military town, right? And not only that, but Pensacola is located on the westernmost edge of Florida's Panhandle. And so that fact, plus the lower than average home prices and cost of living here in Pensacola, make Pensacola a hot spot for Southern retirees moving over here from Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Georgia, right? So right there, we have a lot of people from all across the country who are in the military living here, stationed at Pensacola, but also it's a hotbed for Southerners. And not only is it a hot spot for Southern retirees, you already know Pensacola is a hot spot for retirees from all across the globe, honestly, but we have a lot of people moving from Canada, New York, and a lot of the other northern states here in the US. Okay, so can you see how Pensacola is going to be a very diverse area geographically wise as far as people go? But not only that, I'm standing in Seville Square right now, and I'm looking around right now and I see already different ethnicity types of people here just kind of walking around, hanging out. If you were to go to Palafox Street, which is just a block over from here, or if you were to just kind of post up at the food court at the mall, you're going to see all different types of people. I mean, I'm talking, you're gonna see black, white, brown, Puerto Rican, Asian, you know, Pensacola is a very, very diverse area when it comes to everything. Here in the Pensacola area, you will see a lot of churches. We have synagogues. There's also a Buddhist temple up off of 9 Mile Road. The point is, if you're the type of person who wants to live in an area where everyone is exactly like yourself, I just would not recommend that you move to Pensacola, because on a regular basis, I meet someone who is totally different from me. Like, this happens on a regular basis. Numerous times I run into people who have an accent that, you know, tells me that they're not from the southeastern area of the United States, or they have an accent that clearly indicates that they're just from an entirely, totally different country, right? So if you're wanting to move to an area where everyone is exactly the same, you know, Pensacola is just not gonna do it for you. But if you're thinking about moving to Pensacola and you're wondering whether or not you would fit in, maybe you're from out of the country, like maybe you're from somewhere just totally different other than the Southeast United States, the Pensacola Panhandle area. Well, I think rest assured and be encouraged to know that folks here most of them are not from here. I met someone one time, I asked them, "Are you from here?" To which they replied, "Is anyone from Pensacola?" And it was at that moment when I realized that, yeah, Pensacola is just a really diverse area. All right, now archetype number 4 is gonna be the person who would rather just sit inside, lay on the couch and watch Netflix versus getting outside, being active, being social, and enjoying the Florida sunshine and weather. You can usually spot this person by the way that they sound, and here's how they sound. "It's hot, I wanna go home. Can we go yet? When are we gonna leave? It's hot, I'm sweating." Yeah, I'm talking about that person. I mean, let's be real. We all know somebody who sounds exactly like that. I mean, these are the type of people who during the summer months, you know, when everybody else is outside hanging out, you know, grilling something out there on the barbecue or just throwing the football around, just hanging out in the backyard, these folks can always be found inside, laying on the couch, watching TV, you know, watching reruns of their favorite TV shows, all while scrolling social media on their phone. And look, I'll be honest with you, you know, this person does great when they first get here. They're super excited to be living down here on the Gulf Coast at Pensacola. You know, they're putting up with the hot weather and all of the sunshine. They're going to the beach every other weekend. They're sweating, they're getting sunburned maybe. But eventually that honeymoon phase of when they first move here, it eventually wears off. Eventually going to the beach every weekend is gonna get kind of old. Like, you're not gonna wanna do that every single weekend. And so this person is eventually gonna start running into problems and gonna get kind of frustrated once the honeymoon phase is over after the first 3 months that they've lived here and moved here to Pensacola. Once they start looking around for other things to do other than just go to the beach every weekend, they're gonna quickly realize that, like, everything to do here in Pensacola, you are going to be outside to some degree. To that point, I would say that probably the second most popular thing to do here in Pensacola is going to be to hang out on Palafox Street. As you can see, you know, right behind me, we have a couple of shops, you know, different bars and restaurants right here, all up and down Palafox. Palafox Street itself is probably a mile up and down. You know, again, if you're the type of person who wants to stay inside, like, your 2 main attractions here in the Pensacola area is going to be, number 1, obviously, is going to be the beach. And then number 2 is going to be Palafox Street, right? Like, you're going to be popping in and out of shops and boutiques, going shopping. There's also at least 1, 2, 3 different coffee shops right here on Palafox Street, as well as a plethora of restaurants and bars to stop in, grab something to eat, get a cold drink, whatever. And then beyond Palafox Street, like that we have here in Pensacola, so many day festivals, parades, whatever, you know, all different types of things to do outside, right? So if you're the type of person who just wants to chill inside, relax indoors in the AC, man, like, everything that's happening here in Pensacola is gonna be happening outside. All right, and the 5th and final personality type for this video that I think just would not do well here in the Pensacola area is the type of person who is obsessed with keeping up appearances and only wants to be seen in social circles where everyone else is looking pristine and perfect. Talking about the type of person who just always looks like they're just so well put together. They don't ever look like there's, you know, anything wrong with them. You know, they have the perfect marriage, the perfect family. Their kids go to the private schools. They're gonna go to the perfect college once they graduate from high school. Their life is just perfect. All right, now if that sounded like you, hey, more power to you. There's nothing wrong with setting you know, high standards for yourself and setting lofty goals. But you know, again, if that sounds like you might want to check out other beach towns other than just Pensacola. You might want to check out Seaside or the Grayton Beach area or Sandestin. In my opinion, those areas are definitely a little bit more higher society than Pensacola is. Here in Pensacola, like, people here just don't really put on airs like that. Pensacola is definitely not a uppity town. For the most part, here in Pensacola, folks are pretty laid back. Like, we don't really put on airs that much. You know, and to kind of illustrate this point, like, you got to realize that here in Pensacola, like, not everyone is trying to win the Yard of the Month award. You know, not everyone is obsessed with keeping up appearances. Not everyone in Pensacola is going to drive a brand new Range Rover or Mercedes. Not everyone is going to look like they belong to the country club. Not everyone is going to send their kids to private schools. For the most part, I think that Pensacola is a blue-collar town. And so again, just to reiterate, if you're the type of person who wants to be surrounded by keeping up with the Joneses type people, you know, you might want to consider other beach towns. Now wait, don't think that just because I said that Pensacola is a pretty laid back, you know, kind of a blue collar type town, don't let that stop you from moving here to the Pensacola area, because we definitely do have that ambitious social circle group of folks here in this town where you can definitely, you know, get in where you fit in, right? I mean, for the most part, I would consider myself a pretty ambitious person. Not that I'm extremely wealthy or anything, but I definitely, you know, am kind of a high achieving personality type. I like to work hard. And I definitely have plenty of folks here in this town that I've met who share that kind of same outlook on life. But for the most part, here in Pensacola, most people are gonna be pretty laid back. And so, all that being said, if you're thinking about moving to Pensacola, keep in mind that you're moving to Pensacola and not the Hamptons. All right, folks, well, there you have it. Those are the 5 different personality types that I think would just really struggle fitting in and feeling comfortable here in the Pensacola area. Now, after watching that video, hopefully none of those, you know, personality types sounded like you, and you're now more ready than ever to make your move here to the Pensacola area. But if any of those personality types, you know, kind of describe you, or, you know, 1, 2, or 3 of them, you know, sounded like you may really want to reconsider your desire to move here to Pensacola. But again, if none of those sounded like you, hey, that's awesome. I would love to help you make that transition here to the Pensacola area whenever that time is. Like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, my name is Robert Wilson. I am a real estate agent here in the area. Whenever you're ready to move, just feel free to reach out to me. All of my contact information can be found in the comments section below the video, as well as in the description box below the video. Feel free to reach out to me via call, text, or email. I have people hit me up all the time who are moving from out of town and wanting to move to the Gulf Coast, and I've helped plenty of people make their transition and buy a home here in Pensacola. So if you're thinking about moving to Pensacola, I would love to be your agent. And lastly, I want to thank you for watching the video, and if you got any value out of it, please go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. I put out videos like this all of the time, kind of describing the general Pensacola area, what the vibe is like, and then also we go on some neighborhood tours and we talk about real estate, right? So if you're looking for more content like this, please go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. YouTube will then know to put my videos in front of you. So again, thank you for watching the video, and we'll see you on the next one.